You want to share your name?
I'm Stephen Larson of Brainerd, Minnesota. I'm a white Caucasian male, and I was born without arms 66 years ago. And I worked for the state of Minnesota for 38 years in administrative, management, leadership capacities, rehabilitation counselor for children and adults with disabilities, and I've taught special education at Central Lakes College since 2012.
How do teachers lead in the community and in the schools?
How do teachers lead?
Teachers lead.
Well, I think to be an instructor, you have to be self-confident. You have to be an expert in at least one subject matter. And you have to have strong interpersonal skills, ability to establish and maintain relationships with others.
How do teachers successfully navigate the relationship between social media and professional boundaries with students?
This is another question
Yeah,
that I didn't hear. So how do teachers navigate
social media
social media?
and professional boundaries with students.
Well, confidentiality of the student is primary. And you know, within that professional realm, there are arenas that you can certainly ask about. And there are other private matters that are not. Is that it for the year then for those students?
Yeah, I think that's the year.
This is the last
This
day?
is the last day. It's the last day.
I thought they'd be screaming and yelling.
Oh, I think I did hear screaming and yelling
No!
from Riverside.
Did you really?
Yeah. Some honking and some screaming and yelling. How do teachers fulfill their legal and ethical obligations with ensuring students' rights and are met in areas such as equity, inclusion, and confidential privacy? So some of that you answered already. Ensuring inclusion, confidentiality, and privacy.
Well, I am an employee of Central Lakes College, which is one of several colleges within the Min-State system. And Min-State has specific rules and policies regarding confidentiality and the other topics that you asked me about. I navigate by abiding by the statute and requirements of my employer. We could be catfish fishing gate at the same time. We could be down there catfishing.
Yeah? Did you bring fishing equipment?
No, I've got him in my boat in the garage. I'm going to land it tomorrow. But
I think I showed the questions that go along with this.
okay.
How do teachers intersecting social identities, gender, race, class, sexuality impact daily experience on the educator?
I didn't understand it. How do
teachers intersecting social identities?
intersecting what?
Social identities, like
Navigate intersecting?
yeah, like protected classes.
Was that
groups
the
of people.
question? Navigate?
Um,
Intersecting?
like navigating. Yeah.
Okay. Intersecting. These are about the most complex questions anyone could write. Was the instructor of your course responsible for these questions?
Yeah.
Well, they're poorly written.
and he gave like leeway. I could ask them in a different way. So let me see if I can find.
They should be much more simple and understandable. Even though I am an instructor through Min-State. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, how do I navigate all of that stuff?
Like, how does your identity experience as a...
My identity?
Yeah, how does your, like, those are optional questions like to ask more.
Well, you know, I'm a white male. I've taught for a long time. I have a good understanding of my own capacities and what my limitations are.
How does your impact students' experience in your classroom? Identity impact your students' experience in your classroom?
Well, I'm confident in my abilities and knowledgeable about the subject matter. And I believe that gives me some veracity in teaching. I think having visible physical disability also tends to add veracity to my teaching by some students.
Yeah.
Some may not, but of course many of my students don't ever see me because I teach online.
Online. Teachers see ethnocentrism and deficit-based teaching undermine effective teaching.
Well, it depends on you as an individual and whether you have any biases regarding people that are not Caucasian.
Yeah.
Or not the same race as you are. Of course, we have a lot of white Caucasians in Minnesota, and we have a lot of white Caucasian students. I don't believe I have strong negative biases towards people of other ethnicities. As an instructor, I have course outcomes. I have every week I have specific learning objectives that need to be met in order to achieve a satisfactory or a high grade. So regardless of the student's ethnicity, they do need to meet the rubric requirements for satisfactory I have a rubric for every week's assignments. So students are if they read what's available, are aware of what the requirements are to receive a passing and a higher grade.
What is your understanding of ethnocentrism and how does it impact some teachers?
Well, it's back to your ethnicity and whether you have what your opinions or attitudes are towards people that are not of the same ethnicity as you are. Should be a secluded room in the library.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Where it's quiet.
I was thinking CLC is under construction, so I was thinking.
Yeah, that's not going to do it.
The chairs aren't very comfortable except for maybe the back room, like the office suite there. Yeah. There's a school in the background here.
Hear that breeze?
How can teachers avoid ethnocentrism in deficit-based teaching?
Well, you need to be self-reflective. You need to be aware of any biases that you may hold and how those biases may affect your work as a teacher.
Is there anything else you'd like to share for the interview? I think you answered all of it.
Yeah. To tell the instructor of this course that these questions are way beyond the scope of a majority of individuals. I have a master's degree. I've worked with thousands of people over my work for 38 years. I have a command of the English language. These questions should be modified so they're more useful.
Yeah.
And as an instructor, if I was committed to that job, I would take that to heart.
Yeah.
Oh, is there anything else? We're back to that.
I think that's it. I think I got to all the questions. These were the basic questions, but then those other questions were extra questions that were on the bottom. And I simplified this somewhat too.
Sure. Yeah, you have to really be kind of religious about protecting the rights of students to equitable treatment and inclusion, confidentiality. You know, and deficit-based learning or teaching can have a big effect. If the instructor, I'm going to give this piece of paper back to you. If the instructor is impacted significantly by the student's speech or their ethnicity or their behavior or their culture, that's going to be a challenge. I think it's going to be a challenge in treating the student equitably in terms of grading, etc.